Hi, boys and girls, and I have today's read aloud for you. I don't know if you could tell, but I actually have a guest in my chair. Oh, there he is. He's going to turn around and listen to the story too. The story I have for us today is Rosie Revere, Engineer. It's written by Andrea Beatty and illustrated by David Roberts. As we're reading today, I would like you to think about retelling. So remember, when we retell a story, we're thinking about who the characters are, where the story takes place, what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then also if there was a problem in the story and how it was solved. Okay, I'll stop throughout the story and we'll check in. Oh, are you falling asleep? There's no sleeping at school. That silly dog. Rosie Revere, Engineer. I'll hold the picture up so you can see it too. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Look at her go. Look at her. She's taking some things from the trash. But I bet she has a bigger plan for these, don't you think? Yeah. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. Oh my goodness, Domino, look at all these things. Look at all the things on the book. Could you imagine having all these things in your room? I can't. That's a lot of stuff. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts. A hot dog dispenser and helium pants. Those pants remind me of a balloon. Do you know the balloons that ride in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? That's kind of what those remind me of. And they're on the front cover. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head. From parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. I don't know. I've never had experience with pythons, have you? Have you? No, no pythons for you. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat, then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. My seatmate is moving. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day, she kept her dreams to herself. I think she got embarrassed and is afraid to share them now. You should be proud of her ideas, right? Yeah. And that's how it went until one autumn day. Her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who'd worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and the goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. There she is. Excuse you. That night, as Rosie laid wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I. But questions are tricky. Some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and the red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly." What do we think? I wonder what her idea will be. Do you know? What do you think? She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. So she's ready. She's going to try it. She's not sure if it's going to work, but she's brave and is going to try it anyway. What do you think? Will it work? Domino, do you think it'll work? Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The helio cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Oh, it was a good try. Do you think she'll try again? I hope so. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of poor Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh no, never, not ever again. Will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer." Poor Rosie. How's she feeling? I think she's feeling like she should give up. Should she give up? What do you think? Let's stop and do a quick check. Who are the characters so far that we've met? You're right, we've met Rosie. We've met her dad. I think we met her dad. Or no, Fred. The uncle she loved most of all. And now we have her great Aunt Rose. Where is she? She's kind of doing this all at her house. And what's the problem? What does Rosie want? She wants to invent something really, really awesome. But what keeps happening? Has she found success yet? Not yet. Let's find out. I hope she becomes an engineer. She turned round to leave, but then Great-Great-Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. "You did it! Hooray! It's a perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next." Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. "I failed," said dear Rosie. "It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed." "Yes," said her great aunt. "It crashed, that's true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew." Whoops, that was the page. "Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next." She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. So the only thing that would be a failure right now is if Rosie Revere were to stop trying to make something fly and quit. Should she quit? No. Even Domino shook his ears no. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear, to dream bold dreams of a great engineer. The sign in the back, there. We can do it. They're working together. I think she's mustered up some courage and she's trying again. What do you think? At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 build gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. Look at all the inventions they've come up with. Do you see them? Oh my goodness. And that was Rosie Revere, engineer. One thing I think of when I read this story is how Rosie Revere never gave up. She tried and she tried, and even when she wasn't successful, even when what she hoped didn't happen, she didn't let that stop her. So even when something is hard, even when something seems too difficult, it's important to always keep trying, because you never know. The next time you try, you might succeed. Thanks for watching.